Okay, so what would you like to talk about today?
Okay, so I have this guy, and I dated him last year. He's currently my ex-boyfriend. And we dated for I think like we were technically together for like 10 months. We only actually like dated for like 2. Um, but I got really close to him last year, and we were actually both from the same hometown. And then he goes to St. Thomas, so he's like really close by. Now it's basically like he like goes to school with me almost. But as soon as because we both went back home to Brainerd for the summer, and as soon as we went back home, things just like completely changed. We weren't like seeing. We were both really busy with work, so like we weren't seeing each other as much. But it's just like I don't know what it was, but something in our relationship changed, which led him to. He actually broke up with me over text, like drunk at like a music festival. Um, and then we didn't really talk. Like I had no contact because he was just like saying we were gonna go on a break or whatever, which I'm not gonna deal with. So I just kind of like ended all contact with him for a few months, and then as soon as school started back up, he'll message me here and there, just like, and I've like seen him a few times just because. Like his roommates and his friends are my friends, and like some of my friends are his, so it's just like we have like mutual friends. um, but now I actually just hung out with him this last weekend, and my roommates all hate him. My sister hates him. They're very like negative about like me seeing him or like any time I spend with him. And I guess I'm just at this place where, because I know that I miss him, and I like we don't really like we hang out like on a surface level, like we don't really like discuss what's going on or like what with our relationship. So I guess I'm just kind of questioning if I should bring up the fact that I still have feelings for him, or if I should not, because I don't know if he feels the same way, and I'm just like really nervous about it, or yeah, I guess I'm just like really confused on what to do next.
Yeah. So you feel conflicted because you kind of have feelings still for him, but you don't really know whether to say them or when's the right time, or what your roommates and your sister would think if you did.
Right, exactly. And I think that's one really big thing that I think is actually stopping me from like opening up is my friends and my sister's like viewpoint on him, which for me I don't think it should affect it like whatsoever. Like, I mean, they always say like your family knows like what's best for you and like all that stuff, or your friends. And I know they're looking out for me, but at the same time, every time that I do talk to him, they make me feel so guilty, which I think also conflicts. Like I feel like I can't have him and my friends. Like I feel like it's just very like conflicting. But then I also, since I did kind of like go MIA and we didn't like discuss the breakup or anything, I also never got closure. So I think that is what like one of the underlying reasons why I feel like I need to like talk to him about it, just because I don't even know why it ended. So I guess I think I'm just like curious. Yeah.
So tell me more about what your roommates and your sister like don't really like about him.
So the main reason they don't like him is because of like the way he broke up with me. Also, for my sister, we actually last year was like really hard for us because we got into a lot of fights. I think primarily because of him, because I would spend like I went over to his place a lot, and like it was just her and me living in the apartment. So like when I would leave, she was all alone, which I don't think was like her. She didn't really have the say in it, but like whatever. But I think that they have negative feelings towards him just because when he was in a relationship, he just didn't like I mean, as far as I know, he didn't cheat on me or anything, but like he didn't necessarily like act like he was in a relationship. And I guess like I know he cared about me, but I don't think he really showed it as much as I may have liked him to, or they would have liked to see him show. Like anytime we went out to the bars, he was always talking to like other girls. I mean, I would talk to like other guys. Like I feel like we're both very similar in that way, where we're like very like flirty type of people, but like I don't know. He just didn't show like he cared as much. he didn't reach out to me, like, because I went through, like, a lot of problems or whatever last year that he, like, I feel like never reached out to me about. So, like, I think they definitely have good reasons for not liking him, but at the same time, they only see the negative. Like, they don't see, like, the good aspects of it, too, so.
So you feel apprehensive because you see the reason behind why your roommates and your sister think this way about him, and you've seen it in him, too, but you still kind of feel like you kind of want to talk to him again and be back with him.
Right. And I don't even, because I think that my roommates and my sister and my friends, I guess, think that I for sure want to get back with them. And I don't even, and I kind of thought that's what it, like, was at the beginning. I thought I was just, like, didn't want to be, like, alone or whatever, and I just didn't see the reason why we broke up, and I still don't really see the reason why. But I think my main thing is just getting that closure. That was the first relationship that I've ever been in. So I've never had anything else to, like, compare it to, I guess. So for me, I don't know, it was just, like, it was a big deal for me, but for him, he's been in, like, multiple relationships. So I think I just, like, need that closure, because I think it's just, like, I think it's lowered my own self-esteem, because immediately, like, if somebody ends something with you, like a friendship or relationship, you immediately think, like, what did I do wrong? And because he didn't specify, because he was, like, really intoxicated during it, and because we never discussed it afterwards, I still, like, am questionable, I guess, where it left off.
So you said you were friends with him before you started dating. Since the relationship ended, how has your the friendship aspect of your relationship changed with him?
Right. So he first reached out to me, I think it was, like, the first week of classes. And for like the first month or two, it was more of, like, he was, like, flirting with me, like, he wanted the relationship to come back together. And then his stepdad actually passed away on Halloween this year, and I had gotten a call from him at, like, 3 a.m. on a Monday, and for me, I was like, great, like, whatever, like, he's probably drunk or something calling me for some reason, just because of how our relationship was the previous, like, 2 months. And then I figured that out, and he told me, like, he didn't really know who to call except for me. So after that day, we kind of established, like, you know what, maybe we should be friends, like, let's just stay in, like, friendship terms, nothing more. But, like, I wanted to, like, support him still, no matter, like, what had happened in the past. So I guess ever since, we've been friends, because I've been trying to be there for him with that. So, like, our friendship is good, but at the same time, I know, like, for myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to continue a relationship. Like, I'm glad I was there for the first few months while he first had to deal with it, but there's no way that I can have a friendship while still having those, like, other feelings there. So as of now, it's fine, but I know it's not going to be able to continue. And I guess right now I'm trying to consider, like, do I discuss, like, further things with him, or do I, like, my roommates and stuff are saying, do I, like, delete his number, do I delete his social media, because I always found myself, like, looking at his stuff or whatever, becoming, like, involved in his, like, life that I shouldn't have to worry about or whatever. So I actually deleted his number a couple days ago, but I haven't deleted him on other stuff. So I guess I'm not really sure where we are regarding, like, friends right now. It's very confusing, but yeah.
So on the one hand, you really know that it's kind of not the relationship you want right now, and you're kind of listening to your roommates and your sister that this relationship probably shouldn't continue. But on the other hand, you still feel, like, really pulled towards him, and you really still have feelings for him, and especially not having closure. So you still kind of seek him out.
Yep, exactly. And I think I told myself too that I tried to, like, convince myself that I didn't still have feelings. So then when we were actually, like, friends during those first couple of months, during classes, I was trying to just be his friend, and it was, like, going well right away. And then I realized that there was another guy that kind of, like, popped up in my life that I became friends with, and he like mentioned that he kind of like wanted more out of it, like a relationship, and I just couldn't. And like this guy, an incredible guy, super sweet, just like the perfect, I think, kind of guy for me. But I realized, and I've had like 2 or 3 of those so far this year, but for some reason I just can't seem to move on. And I think it has to do with my underlying feelings for like my past relationship. I'm gonna guess because I can't think of any other reason that would be happening, or why I would turn them down, or like why I wouldn't feel the same exact way. So yeah.
So you clearly have like seen other guys and talked to other guys and maybe like been a little bit interested. But I have a hunch that maybe you didn't really continue pursuing those other guys during this time since the breakup, because you still have underlying feelings for him, especially without the closure.
Yeah. Both times where both of these guys, like these newer guys, brought up continue on maybe with like a relationship, immediately that's where it ended. And like they both ended on bad terms, because I'm sure they're like, oh, like things have been going well, like why are we not like pursuing this or whatever. And I know it's me, but I just like can't figure out why I can't. And like I think I've always been really had like really bad like trust issues, or like I've just never been like the dating type, which I'm also like, well, if I dated this guy last year and I have trouble, like I've never been able to do that before, like trust somebody enough to date him, like he had to have been like super great or whatever. So I think I'm like using him to compare everybody else, and it's like not only affecting like my future relationships and like having the opportunity to finally like move on, but it's also affecting my relationships with my friends, because every time I hang out with them, they get mad at me. My sister will like ignore me for like a day and a half, even though it's not like her decision, but I know she's like has the best, wants the best for me. But yeah, it's like really affecting other aspects of my life, and it's been 10 months now since we broke up, so I'm just very confused on why it's still going on this long.
So you can tell me if this relates or not, but I kind of have had something where I felt similar to you, very timid and like apprehensive. So last year when I was deciding on like what summer job to have between the 2 school years, I knew that I should probably get an internship, something that would really apply to my major. And like my parents were really pushing me to do that, and my sister and like all my classmates and stuff, you know, just saying like, yeah, it would really like boost your resume, and it would like help with your major and like all of that stuff, and be a really good way to spend your summer. But I really did not want to do that, just because I didn't feel like I would have like very much freedom doing the internship, or like be as interested as I should be, or like that's just not how I imagined myself spending the summer, even though I knew my friends and family had really, really good points about why I should do this internship over the summer. I just did not feel like that's what I wanted to do, and like I wanted to do something else that would, I don't know, maybe not be as good for me, but just more like fun and what I felt like I should do. So does that relate to how you're feeling?
Yeah, that relates really well, actually. It's definitely a different scenario, but I think it touches on like exactly how I'm feeling, because like I feel very, I guess, peer pressured, which kind of sounds like how you're feeling. Even though like your family and your friends might have like the best intentions for you, and like are like truly like looking out for you and hoping that you seek like the best option. I think it's also hard because they like you have to be very empathetic, I feel like, too, as a friend or family of somebody that's going through something, because you really have to like put yourself in their shoes to kind of understand. So yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And I actually brought that up to like my sister too, because like she's an ex from a while ago that I like that she still like texts every so often or whatever to be there. So I'm like, you are in my shoes right now, like you're in my shoes, like look at the scenario, even though I tell her not to talk to him. So like it's definitely hard when you're like kind of being pressured or leaning towards something based on your friends or family, for sure.
So like you said, you feel pressured because of all this like peer pressure that's coming from your family and friends,
right?
But also just like feeling something within yourself that you just don't want to do what they say.
Yep. Exactly. Very conflicting views between my family, my friends, and I, for sure.
So overall, you've kind of said like you've had this conflicting relationship with your family and friends, and also your ex-boyfriend, and just you talked about not having closure and really wanting to seek that out, but also not knowing if you want to seek out something more in the relationship besides closure, and just not really knowing what to do. So
yeah,
does that sound right?
Yep, exactly. Okay,
So
cool.